Debt is a tricky thing. It can be both a tool for building wealth or a trap that keeps you stuck in financial stress. The key to understanding debt is recognizing how to use it wisely and knowing when it's becoming a burden. Many people fall into debt mistakes that make their financial situation worse instead of better. So, is debt good or bad? It really depends on how you manage it. One of the biggest debt mistakes is taking on more than you can handle. It's easy to be tempted by loans or credit cards, especially when the money is available to you right away. But taking on too much debt, especially without a clear plan to pay it off, can quickly spiral out of control. The monthly payments start piling up, and before you know it, a big chunk of your income is going toward interest and repayments. This can prevent you from saving, investing, or even covering basic living expenses. To avoid this mistake, it's important to only borrow what you can comfortably repay, and to think carefully before taking on new debt. Another common mistake is using debt for things that don't increase in value. For example, buying the latest gadgets, clothes, or vacations on credit may feel good in the moment, but these are things that lose value over time. You're still paying for them months or even years after the excitement has worn off. This is what's known as bad debt that doesn't give you a return on your investment. Good debt, on the other hand, is debt that helps you build wealth over time, like a mortgage for a home that can increase in value, or a student loan that helps you earn more money in the future. Understanding the difference between good and bad debt is crucial to avoiding financial mistakes. Many people also fall into the trap of only paying the minimum on their debts. While it might seem like a way to keep up with payments, it's one of the worst mistakes you can make. When you only pay the minimum, you're mostly covering the interest, and very little of your payment goes toward the actual debt. Over time, this can result in paying far more than what you originally borrowed, and it can take years, sometimes decades, to pay off even small balances. To avoid this, always aim to pay more than the minimum, and focus on paying off high-interest debts first. Another mistake to avoid is taking out payday loans or other forms of high-interest short-term loans. These loans often seem like a quick fix, but they come with extremely high interest rates, making it difficult to pay them off. Many people who take out payday loans end up in a cycle of borrowing more just to repay what they owe, and the fees and interest quickly add up. If you're in a tight financial spot, it's better to explore other options, such as negotiating with creditors or seeking a financial advisor, rather than falling into the payday loan trap. These high-interest loans are designed to keep you in debt, and once you're caught in that cycle, it can be extremely hard to get out. Avoiding this type of debt is crucial for maintaining your financial stability. Another common mistake is not having a clear plan for paying off debt. Many people take on debt without thinking about how they're going to pay it back or assuming future income will cover it. But life is unpredictable, and without a clear strategy, it's easy to fall behind on payments. This can damage your credit score, increase your interest rates, and make it harder to borrow responsibly in the future. To avoid this mistake, create a solid repayment plan before you take on any debt. Know exactly how much you need to pay each month and stick to it, even if that means cutting back on non-essential expenses. Consolidating debt without understanding the terms is another mistake to watch out for. Debt consolidation can seem like a lifesaver when you're juggling multiple payments, but it's important to fully understand the new terms you're agreeing to. While consolidation can lower your monthly payments, it can also extend the time you'll be in debt and increase the total amount you pay in interest. Always read the fine print and make sure that consolidation is actually saving you money in the long run, rather than just offering temporary relief. Using debt as a solution for every financial problem is another mistake many people make. Debt should be a tool, not a crutch. If you constantly turn to borrowing to solve cash flow problems, it's a sign that there are deeper financial issues that need to be addressed. Whether it's overspending, lack of savings, or poor budgeting, it's important to tackle the root cause rather than continually relying on debt to get by. Long-term, this habit will only keep you in a cycle of financial strain. Failing to build an emergency fund is another debt mistake that often goes unnoticed. Without an emergency fund, you're more likely to rely on credit cards or loans when unexpected expenses pop up, whether it's a medical bill, car repair, or job loss. This can quickly lead to unmanageable debt. By having a financial safety net, you can avoid taking on debt for emergencies and stay on track with your financial goals. Another thing to watch out for is the misconception that paying off debt is the only thing you should focus on. While it's important to pay down debt, you also need to think about saving and investing for the future. Putting every extra penny toward debt repayment and ignoring your savings means you won't have the money set aside for opportunities or emergencies down the road. It's important to strike a balance between paying off debt and building a financial cushion that can support you in the long term. Lastly, letting ego drive your financial decisions is another silent mistake. Some people take on debt to maintain a certain lifestyle or to appear successful to others. This can lead to borrowing for things you don't need or spending beyond your means just to keep up appearances. At the end of the day, this kind of debt only leads to financial stress and limits your ability to build real wealth. It's important to stay grounded in your own financial reality and make decisions based on what's best for your long-term financial health, not what looks good to others. So, is debt good or bad? It depends on how you use it. When managed wisely, debt can be a tool for building wealth, like taking out a loan to buy a home or fund your education. But when misused, it can trap you in a cycle of payments and interest that's hard to escape. The key is to approach debt with caution, have a clear plan, and make sure you're using it to improve your financial situation, not hinder it. Avoiding these common debt mistakes will help you stay in control of your finances and use debt as a tool for growth rather than a source of stress.